Hello again, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Queensland Abandoned Mines. If you like the episode today and you want to stay in touch with what we do, you just got to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell icon, and you will then be notified of all of our upcoming episodes. So today we normally say we're back in the bush, but today we're up a huge mountain. We're on brand new ground. And we do realise the place that we're exploring is on private property. We do have permission to be there from the landowners, but there is some quite iconic machinery left up there. So if you do know the property, please refrain from leaving it in the comments. So now today I was very grateful to have two local guides that have been exploring that area for most of their life. So they know the area very well. A lot of similarities to what we do with this channel is that they're not really into prospecting, looking for precious metals, like a lot of other people that get out there. They're more interested in the archaeological and the historic nature of these old workings and old townships, specifically is what they do. So now we found some pretty cool shafts. We found a couple of adits. We did find the one shaft, the Dreadnought shaft, that we've been trying to find for well over 6 months. We thought it had been infilled. Now we have a thing called the GoPro mine probe that we can lower down, and we strapped the gas meter to it on this day, and it hit really bad air and started arming at only 75 feet down. So you can probably see in this image here, there's a lot of rotten timbers that led to some really bad low oxygen. So the oxygen dipped down to about 17%, and that was only around about the 125 feet mark, so it was pretty bad. And there's also some other hazards to this site. Every time I set out and go on and explore, I've got to do a bit of an equipment check, and we check all the batteries, check all the normal stuff. Check every square inch of my rope for any frays or anything that might have milked out of the rope or anything that's been snagged on it. Even go down to checking our shoes. And I've never had an issue with our shoes. We've got these Merrill hiking boots that they weren't cheap. Interestingly, after this mission, they'd completely delaminated in about 5 or 6 spots. So, and I do know, and I do recall from the day that we're up there, there's definitely some evidence of some old leaching sites. So I already forementioned that it's private property, and I would also say that there's some areas of this mine that are still quite hazardous to humans. It's a lot of mining's gone up there, and some of the methodology of mining was quite frowned upon. I think it was the precipitation method for extracting the copper out of mine water. Now, if you guys are watching this episode, I want to show you guys how you can now watch it in 4K. So you just got to open up your YouTube, whether it be on your browser, click on these 3 little dots. You scroll down to the quality, which we probably set to about 480. And you set it to the maximum resolution, and hopefully you guys can see the 4K or at least 1080 or higher definition. So sit back and watch today's episode of us exploring some really cool copper mines that span all the way back to the year 1890. Enjoy. Here it goes in. Oh, it reeks. Oh. No, they don't bite you.
Oh, they're just like those wet ones, yeah?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got
Oh,
What does it smell like?
real bad.
What is that?
Oh,
What is that?
it could be an old hand chisel, possibly. I don't want to touch it because it looks like it would disintegrate. Don't know. All right. Alrighty. Nah, not backfilled. Oh, it reeks. Ow. It keeps going. Alright guys, I can't tell you where we are today. Just the landowners and the guides that we're with today definitely don't want us to broadcast the location, but I think it's pretty safe to start filming it at this point. So you guys can probably tell from the geology. Look at that beautiful blue, that azurite. That's the carbonate of copper. Isn't it pretty? It's kind of spoilt by all these bugs. So I just need to get back out and get my knee pads on, guys, because this ground is really gross. But she keeps going around the corner. There's a little bit of crawl space there, so I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright guys, there's been a lot of groundwater in here. Just stopping for a sec, just to admire this copper. So that's not worth any money. That means there's a copper lode above us, and then the water leaches, and then once it oxidizes, it just crystallizes as this beautiful blue. You can see some calcium in there too. All right.
Well, unfortunately guys, that hole, I'll explain it because the GoPro could make it look big or small, but that's about 15 centimeters high by about 15 centimeters across. And there's some rubble to the left that looks like it's coming down a winze or a shaft. There's really nice cool air coming out of there, so it links up. But that is a death trap. That's all she wrote for this one. All right, I've got to get out of here. All right, guys, check out some of these vibrant colors. That's that same mineral deposit we saw on the inside of that little adit. Isn't it pretty? Let's keep exploring. Look at the size of this mine dump. It'd have to be 40 feet high, minimum, and probably about 125 foot long. Millions of tons of ore they brought up from underground. So we're searching for an adit that all of this would have come out of, or a vertical shaft. Alright guys, not getting too close to this one, but check this little fella out. So again, on the GoPro it either makes it look enormous or it makes it look tiny. That is a tiny little, more of an open stope than a shaft, so it's probably about 2 feet wide by about 6 feet that runs along the strike. Yeah, go to your, just where my torch is there's another level, there's a timber stole, and it looks like it opens up right down the bottom. And there's about 3 workings that are on the same strike behind me. So only tricky thing about this one is the collar is gone. It may have been timbered at one stage, and that's the best face to climb. There's no trees, so we'll have to suss this one out properly. Alright, we'll get back to this one this afternoon once I've got my ropes. Alrighty guys. So I want to show you, this hasn't been in operation for 50 years. And I want to show you and try and piece together what's left of this. So we're going down a decline here. Would have definitely had rail lines in. You can actually see some of the old supports for it. Back again with all of my Aussie friends and the moths. Oh, a bit of a mine spider there, he looks a bit crook. And check out this old thing, look at the size of those big RSJs up there. So this is definitely some kind of chute. And I want to show you up inside it. You can see that's the old handle. Sorry. Bloody bats, they always panic and pee on you. So it lifted up that handle just here, and that would have fed into a skip, would have run along the rails behind me the way that I've come in, and I'll show you where it led to. I just want to show you up inside this thing. It's pretty cool. Check that out. Clean the lens. You can just see a solitary little bat in there, and look at the bright blues and greens again. It's obviously going to be a bit of a theme for today. There's about 50 years of copper ore screaming down this chute, so would have fed out through this tunnel. You can see the remnants of the old rail line. Check that thing out. That is the old ore processing plant. I'll walk up on that and give you a bit of a run through. But effectively right in front of us here, there would have been some like a steel trestle, and it would have led right up the top to the top of that hopper, and it feeds down through the stampers and out through the sluices on the side. Isn't she beautiful? Sorry about the shaky camera. Just doing the splits partially, as someone's pulled up the old platform here, and I don't trust that pipe that's below it. Oh. Did you guys hear that? Just a big rock fell through the hopper, it just scared me to death. I'm getting some advice from the locals to look out for drop bears. Yes, all the ore would have fed out from the portal all the way up to this hopper, would have fed down, would have come down through these chutes into these grizzlies, and then below me in these massive drums are these big diesel powered stampers, and then the crushed ore would have flowed back down through and then down through these sluice boxes that are beneath me, and then would have all linked up to the two big chutes they've got down there that all lead into a monstrous ore bin. And then down there looks like it's maybe the collection point. I'd have the trucks come pick it up. So again, not mentioning where we are today, just it's all private property, so unfortunately the YouTube community, it does sometimes entice people to follow us out there. They could get you a fair bit of strife out this way. And I don't know the area really well. The people I'm with today are really friendly, but I've got it on really good authority. This is not the kind of place that you want to trespass for a good number of reasons. So super pumped to have the guides with me today. They've been out, exploring out here most of their life. All right, I've got to get down off this thing. How cool is that, guys? All right, and there we go. Once they come out of the crushers, they'd feed down into these sluice runs, and these sluice runs would have had the riffles. That's why they would have captured all the heavy metals, all the precious metals. You can tell by the age of some of these fittings, this is not sort of early 1900s stuff. I'd say this is the operation from sort of late 20s, early 30s, maybe as late as the 40s. Man, this is epic. Alright, I'm going to need two hands for this because I filmed coming across here and almost stacked it, so I'll see you guys in a sec. Check this thing out, guys. That is an old shaft sinking lift. So, impossible to tell whether it was for men or ore. If it was for men, that's where they would have been sunk down for work for their shift. All the huge timbers just sitting in amongst this big mine dump here. We're on something here, big slab sitting in the bush. And it's hard to pick up on video, but this entire hill looks like it's all been dug up and put back down at one stage. Wow, that's cool. What a cool example of nature reclaiming its place. That tree would have to be about 80 odd years old. Its roots have sprawled out over the footings. Normally the footings of this size would normally be for stamp mills. I think the stamp mills, once you get the pistons on and all the timbers and the tables, I think they're well over 5 to 6 tons, but then because they vibrate and they oscillate, the footings absolutely have to be absolutely enormous. Alright, this is always a bit of an ominous sign. Have a look at this. That, yeah, good call. So this is rare. That is a triple compartment shaft. So The main shaft is probably for the big hoist, and the right is normally for what they call the manway, which would be the emergency exit for the miners. And this one could have been for a second lift. Check this out, how cool is this? Mrs. S has just, I haven't got my glasses on, so what does that say? We've got some...
There's 1, stop when in motion, 2, lower, 3, hoist, 4, persons on, 7, blasting, and 12 is an accident. So I guess that was like a call sign.
That would be bell rings.
Oh yeah, horns, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys can see the remains of the old air return bag. So actually probably the left hand side's the manway, the ladders are out, and the right hand side's probably the utility shaft. So that would be probably for dewatering and for forcing the air down so the miners didn't, oh Jesus. That's probably an example of one you don't want to climb, guys. So right under my feet just here, that's all dry rot, possibly there's some white ants. I guess it is possibly climbable. It's probably about 120 odd feet to the bottom. The problem is this chicken wire and these timbers. That would probably open up, and that would probably run diagonally off to the right up that way and follow that same strike of all the workings we've already found today. Alrighty guys, check this out. We've got another footing. One of the old, probably steam boilers, so the workings were at possibly pre-1900. Sorry about the wind. So we've got a bit of a, it's not really a shaft, that's more of an open stope. And it definitely looks like it opens up down there, so could almost get down there without rope, but wouldn't be able to get back up, and it also looks like that could slide down at a bit of a dip. So don't want to do anything too reckless, we'll make sure we rope up. Check this thing out guys, this is epic. Look at those beautiful timbers down there. So what's happened there is that this is probably bad ground. Looks like mud rock. and they would have had collars. Look at that, there's collars about every 5 feet, maybe every 4 feet, all the way down. And right down the bottom, it looks like there is a huge sheet of metal. Looks like a big mucking sheet or part of a shed, and it may dip away under there. We'll soon find out.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. That wraps up today's episode. We hope to see you back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We can see part 2. You can see starting to prepare to rope into these old mine shafts here. Now, today's the 8th of December. We've still got a couple of episodes of Mount Shamrock to share with you guys. And even as this episode will air, we possibly will have been or starting to make plans to visit the ghost town of Krakow, and that has a couple of old mine workings around the town. So we're hoping to get some footage of the old abandoned ghost town itself of Krakow, and hopefully, as long as we've got the right land permissions, we'll be heading out to check out some of the mines out there. So we hope to see you guys on that adventure as well. But before then, we'll see you back here next Friday night at 7 o'clock to see part 2 of this episode. Thanks again.